Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
It is time for New Life Live. Time for you to call in anytime in the next 2 hours to get some help for whatever dilemma you find yourself in. New Life Live hosts have been through it themselves and are ready to share proven strategies. Your breakthrough begins the moment you pick up the phone. 1-800-229-3000 is our number. I'm Brian Perez, here with Doctor of Marriage and Family Therapy, Sheri Denham Keffer. How are you, Sheri?
I'm good, and I'm better now that I'm here with you two gentlemen.
Oh, you're so kind. Dr. Jim Burns, the founder of Homeward, is here as well. How are you doing, Jim?
I am so happy to be here. And I always love it when I get to be on with Sheri because she's like really, really smart and I take notes on her.
Well, you know, it's so funny. I had one of our New Life listeners reach out to me yesterday, and she has the app, which is very cool. And she said, hey, you're going to be on with Dr. Jim Burns tomorrow. And I said, I am. And she knew before I knew.
Oh, nice.
But I said, I love when I'm on with you. That's
Well, I
what
didn't know.
told her. And Brian, of course. You're not chopped liver or anything.
No, I didn't. I
just-
didn't know you could find out ahead of time.
She's got the app, so hey, I know when you have more of New Life, you have more information.
So I have the app, but I should probably look at it then and see.
Yeah,
Okay. I love all the ways people
wow.
can get to us.
Yes,
You
for
know,
sure.
And it's just so many. It's so cool. You know, it's not just radio. It's everything. So
Everything.
It's really
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah. So what's on your mind, Jim, to start us off?
Well, I was thinking, because it's the Christmas time, I was thinking that a lot of us have trouble with different relatives. We had our big family get-together on Sunday, our extended family and their characters. And I wanted to say to somebody needs to hear this today, you are not defined by your loved one's choices. You know, I think about this with adult children. We get defined by our adult children's choices. We get defined by our spouse's choices. And you're not defined. And a lot of us, once we are so struggling with that, we get anxiety, and I'm going to call it the risk of overthinking. You know, there's a lot of people talk about overthinking, but I think many times when we overthink, we get anxiety and we get focused on things, and no matter what the anxiety level is in your life, here's what overthinking does. And see if you're an overthinker, because if you are, you may need some help, and you need to call us here at New Life.
For sure.
You're unable to think about anything else. You become a one-topic parent or a one-topic spouse or a one-topic person that whatever you're overthinking on. You feel mentally and emotionally exhausted. You fixate on things with your adult child or somebody else that are out of your control. Boy, do I do that sometimes. And I think I did that when my kids were in that stage of moving from teenage to adulthood. I couldn't do anything about it, but I would try it. It's when you second guess your parenting decisions, if it's your kids. You can't stop worrying about them, whoever it is that you're worried about, and you constantly remind yourself of your mistakes in your own parenting or own relationship things, and you kind of blame yourself. And you spend too much time playing the what-if game, and I think we do that a lot. And so I think it's really important for us when we have a family member that we're kind of defining ourselves by, that we understand that we can accept them and love them without approving of their behavior. And that is really, really key. So I think we got some overthinkers out there. I know I'm one of them. And somebody need to hear that today.
Someone might say, isn't it better to overthink than to underthink?
Well, I don't think either way is probably the best. So overthink, we do so much that we need to relinquish some of this.
Because, you bring up a good point, Brian. I think overthinking keeps you from being present.
Yeah.
It keeps you from being in the here, the now, in the next minute.
Yeah.
It keeps you in judgment instead of just rest. And I think you're right, Jim. I think there's a lot of us that end up don't even knowing that we're missing out on a lot of rest because we're anxious and worried. And didn't Jesus say something about birds, anxiety, and worry? We'll come right back.
Yeah. Yes, we will
So
on New
good.
Life Live. Can't wait to talk to you.
I'm Dr. John Townsend. Maybe this year you want to lead better in your church, your nonprofit, your workplace. The Townsend Institute at Concordia University, Irvine trains leaders with competence in character and connection through accredited online programs in counseling, leadership, executive coaching, and consulting, from certificates to master's to PhD programs. Our spring 2026 semester begins in February, and the online format helps you learn without pausing your life or your career. Before you apply, join us on Wednesday, January 14th for our online information night, Townsend Institute Live, where you can speak directly with faculty and staff and alumni. You'll see how our programs can fit with your goals, and if you attend, you'll have your application fee waived. Reserve your spot at cui.edu/Townsend. I'd be honored to walk alongside you.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
One call could change everything. Get on the New Life Live lines now for answers that will bring you peace and direction. New Life Live, 1-800-229-3000 is our number. By the way, if you missed our Life Recovery Today TV program on Monday, it's your lucky day. You can catch a replay today at 3 o'clock Central Time on DirecTV Channel 378, also known as NRB TV. Our new broadcast times are Mondays at 8:30 a.m. Central Time, with a replay Wednesdays at 3 o'clock Central. You can also watch at your convenience on our YouTube channel. And if you're asking, Mr. Radio Host, just what is Life Recovery Today TV? Well, let me tell you. Life Recovery Today TV is a show that delivers the biblical truth and tools you need to break free from addiction and reclaim your life by using the 12-step life recovery process. Find out more about Life Recovery Today TV and life recovery in general at liferecoverygroups.com. So there are several ways you can get your question to us at 1-800-229-3000. That's one of them, and we're in the studio for 2 hours today. You can also submit your question online. You can go to newlife.com/radio to find out how to leave us a voicemail or an email, and that's what Beth did. She sent us an email, and it is, why do I not want to travel to see my family? Here's the backstory. I used to travel quite often. I would go and visit my children and grandchildren in different parts of the U.S., either by road trip or air. Now I no longer want to for some reason, not even if someone else drives. One of my daughters really wants me to come visit her, and I've tried to see my way through to do it many times. It's not that I don't want to be with her and her family, and if they lived locally, I'm sure that I would. Am I just being selfish? Asks Beth. I think I've turned into a day tripper. What's wrong with me? Is it something physical, like maybe sleep issues or allergies? What would you guys say? Sheri?
Oh, precious Beth. I'm actually glad you sent this in, because I think there's a lot of people that have had travel changes in their life, and they're in a conundrum. They're sitting there scratching their head trying to figure out what happened between something where I used to enjoy travel and now I am struggling with it. I believe your heart. I believe you really want to be with your family, but this is what I would wonder about. I would wonder about what happened right before you changed your passion towards traveling. Because there's always a what happened before the why. And I think what you're looking for, maybe it's sleep, maybe it's allergies, maybe it's the postman, maybe, we start scavenging our life, and we're trying to find, I'm looking under my mug, like, what is it? Why won't I try? Am I just selfish? I go, no, I don't think you're selfish, but I think something happened to yourself. And that's the deeper work. That's the part that's excavating. I actually do something called EMDR, stands for Eye Movement Desensitization and Reprocessing. And I have people that come to me, just like you, Beth, that are challenged in flying or driving. And guess what? I do a good history. And then you know what I find? That there's a what in front of the why. And the what can look like, Yeah, I ended up getting out of this relationship, and I felt so trapped in it. And I don't want to go back to that relationship, but I was really hurt and abused that relationship. And the trauma from feeling trapped in that relationship now creates some social phobia, which makes you feel like, I don't want to get on a plane with a lot of people. And so, is it really about the plane? No. It's about the feeling of being trapped. That's where we do the deep excavating to try to find the what behind the why.
Jim, what would you add?
I'm taking notes on that, the what behind the why.
Yeah.
Beth, that's a really good way to look at it. You know, sometimes it's as practical as people get older, they don't feel as comfortable traveling, or even the physical side to it. Take a look at this. If you did travel and it was okay, you would go visit family, but maybe you're sleeping in your granddaughter's little pink bed that's too small for you, or maybe it's too loud or too noisy, or you're not getting the rest, and maybe there's another way to handle that. So look at the physicality of all this.
That's a good point.
Because that could be part of the what and the why, to be honest. It could be as simple as that.
Yeah.
I'm aware of a extended family member in our life who has some issues, bathroom issues, and doesn't want to ever stay at anybody's house. And I couldn't understand that until finally he said, let me tell you why you always invite me to the house, and let me tell you why I feel uncomfortable. And you know what? He had a valid reason. So now and it's a he. I'm not sure with just you, Beth, if it's just you alone. But with him, he sometimes does come to things and he stays in a hotel. But he's not doing it because he's trying to be rude. He's doing it because he has some issues that happen at night that's important to him not to be there. So look at all, really take a deep look at that. And sometimes that takes talking with a therapist or with a friend, being honest and open and transparent, vulnerable. And sometimes there is something super deep, and other times it's something as simple as, I don't sleep really good when I travel, and I need the rest. Ever so often, I hope sometimes you have to face your fears too. So just in case, if it's a family situation, I don't want you to be estranged from your family because you're not willing to see them either. Sometimes we have to do the hard thing. So I'm not saying don't do it, but I am saying try to figure out why. Maybe the why is going to help you, get some family time, and maybe they'll come and visit you too.
And I would say I agree with everything you said. And I would say don't listen to your fear, because you end up feeding a dragon.
Yeah, right.
It's interesting. You brought up that friend of yours that has some issues,
right.
Restroom issues. And I have worked with a few people over the years with that issue.
Yeah.
And you know what? We found out, and I know this is going to sound weird to everybody, you're probably like, but they actually detached emotionally from their body.
Yeah.
At some point in their life, like I look at our bodies like a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old.
Right.
Our bodies rely on us like little kids. And sometimes our bodies have these annoying things that they're doing. They're trying to send us a signal. They're trying to say, like, let's say I'm anxious, and let's say, I'm having some body issues, like, bathroom issues. Yeah. Well, why is that going on? What's the what before the why? But when you ignore that, guess what happens to your body? Just like a 3-year-old. Guys, what happens when you ignore 3-year-olds? You've had kids, grandkids.
Sure.
What do they do when you just don't pay attention to them when they're in pain? What happens, Jim?
Well, they let you know that.
They get louder.
Yeah.
And so helping people build a relationship with their body, not so their body takes control of them, because you wouldn't want your little 3-year-old to take control, but so you begin to listen and repair the breach, because we can get mad at our bodies when it doesn't work like it's supposed to.
Right.
And I know that probably sounds weird to you guys, but it's really interesting work. And when they start listening and having conversations and say, I'm so sorry, body, I've been ignoring you, and they begin to repair, it's weird how many of them, their body issues start to go away because they're listening to themselves instead of just getting mad and trying to, pack the pain down.
Yeah. The sacrifice that we sometimes have to make too, we were talking about body issues, but it may not be body. But the sacrifice sometimes we have to make to enjoy the benefit of being around family. We don't want to get too complacent with that and lose the beauty of family time, especially around this kind of time too.
Yeah.
And
Because family remembers.
yeah,
They miss you, but then they begin to go, okay, well, we don't need to ask him or her
Right.
to the event because they don't come anyway.
True.
And then we
Right.
don't want to build that. That's
Yeah.
just
that's
not
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Thank you, Beth, for sending in your question at newlife.com/radio. You can send us an email or a voicemail. All the instructions are right there. But right now, we're here in the studio for 2 hours at that. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call. And we're going to go up to Kalispell, Montana, where Michelle is listening on the New Life app. Thank you, Michelle, for downloading the New Life app and for calling in today.
Thank you so much. I bet you want to know my question, right?
Well, yeah.
But we want to get to know you a little bit too.
Yes.
Okay, good. So I've been married almost 40 years, and we've had, some difficulties throughout our years. But the last few, I have really fallen out of love with my husband, and it's so hard. Because he loves me and tells me all the time and cherishes me. But I've really thought about this a lot. I think the core of the problem is that I honestly don't trust him or I don't rely on him, I'll put it that way. He has not provided for our future. And we're in our late 60s, and we don't have provision for our future. And I have trusted him with the finances because he has a degree that should bring him more wisdom, but it's wisdom and knowledge is different. So there's that, and there's just some other really annoying habits that he has, I'm sure, just escalated by my my internal fear of growing old. And not, so I'm working, and I have a lot of physical issues. He's very strong and healthy, and he's not working. And that just feels wrong to me.
Well, it is. It is. Let me just be clear with that, right? Because you're trying to relax and rest. But I know we're going to be coming up to a break here shortly, but I want to ask you, how long hasn't he been working?
He has not really brought in much of a. He used to make a lot of money. I mean, that's what's so funny is he had a great career, and then he decided to pursue this idea that he had, and he just wouldn't let it go. For 7 years, he didn't make an income, and then for the last 8 years, so 15 total, he's just not. It's almost like he chases one sort of big idea after the other, and it's not working. And so not much meaningful income. We've gone through all of our savings. We sold our house, and I mean, there's just so many things. Reduced our expenses, and
What
the
if,
future just terrifies me, honestly.
Yeah. Well, that's a long time to watch somebody chase a dream and to not be in reality. Do you know what reality is? Do you know what reality is?
I would say what we build our expectations on. Reality, no, that's not true, because expectations and reality are different. But reality is, it's a good question. Tell me.
Let me tell you. Reality is acknowledging what's true. It's getting honest with yourself and with others, and it's taking steps to own, grieve, and deal with what's right in front of you. And he is not grieving his pipe dream. And because of that, because he's unwilling to let go of what isn't working, and he may struggle with obsession. He might even struggle with something called OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. I'm not diagnosing him, but he might be on the spectrum of OCD and some neurodivergency, because sometimes they can get so obsessed over something and then they kind of live in this scarcity. They're afraid of risking and losing. And it can be very disabling to a couple when this is going on. And they can have some quirky habits too, because it's an anxiety disorder. So I don't know if any of that makes sense, and we're going to spend some time with you after we get back from the break, but there's something going on. There's definitely a what behind the why.
Yeah.
It's a theme we've got going on here today on New Life Live. So, Michelle, stay with us through the break, and we'll come back to you. And we're going to be in the studio for 2 hours today. If you have an issue that you would like to discuss with Dr. Sheri Denham Keffer or Dr. Jim Burns, call us up. 1-800-229-3000 is our number. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube right now, you can call in as well. The number's right there on the bottom of your screen. But let me tell it to you anyway. It's 1-800-229-3000.
Hello, everybody. It's Becky Brown, and I'm coming to you with an urgent need. If you've heard the callers on the show recently, you've heard the struggles that so many people are experiencing. There are many people that are in difficult relationships, difficult places in their lives. I want you to help New Life continue to offer hope for people's lives. We had some generous friends of New Life that started a matching gift, and every gift will be doubled up to $475,000. But it's urgent. The matching window closes December 31st, so don't wait. Every moment matters in recovery, healing, and restoration. Make your gift today by going to newlife.com, click on Donate, or text the word MATCH to 28950. You can also call us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Together, we will bring hope and help to so many more people. And I want to say thank you in advance.
For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And back to Michelle in Montana. Are you still with us, Michelle?
Yes, I am.
All right. What do you think of what you've heard so far?
Well, I don't think it's OCD, but I think there's a chance that he's on the autism spectrum, but very, very high functioning. That's my thought. As I've actually looked it up and talked to some people, there's a possibility of that. But the biggest thing is my big question is, what do I do with this? I don't see I it sounds terrible, but I wish I did not have to spend the rest of my days in this situation, feeling insecure. And there's going to come a day when I can't work. And so what then? I mean, we just don't have the resources. So some of this is practical, but also what does God want, for me in this situation? Like with him not, he doesn't recognize. So it's sort of like pipe dreams that he can't give up on because he invests so much in. And then he just seems to think, and then he moves on to the next one.
He's not in reality, and that could be from the autism, right?
Yeah.
But I think Jim's going to share with you here to bring all your solutions, right? Mm-hmm. He's so wise. But I guess there's one concern that I have with you, and I want to say this so lovingly and gently. I just want to say, what is it about you that has continued to throw resources off the barge? Like your ship has been sinking for 15 years. And I'm like, if I would have known you 15 years ago, 12 years ago, I might have been talking to you about legally filing some kind of a financial separation, something to help you protect yourself. Because it just feels like he's been kind of on the barge, but you've too been just letting go of resources, and there's not been a line, and there needs to be a line. Jim?
Yeah. Well, okay. I can answer a little bit of that, address a little bit of it. He's always kind of kept the finances from me and almost like deceptively led me to believe, and it's my fault, but I have dealt with a tremendous amount of health issues, and so you get kind of distracted with that, and then our kids were still young, and it seemed as though we were doing okay until really like the last 5 years. I said, I want to see what we have. I need to see what we've got, and that's when I realized it's not. We're basically, the house is on fire.
Yeah.
And he's out there watering the garden, kind of. So,
Jim.
Yeah, that's actually great insight. It's a great illustration. The house is on fire, and he's watering the garden. Let me ask you a question. You opened by saying, I've fallen out of love with him, but then you talked about trust. Talk to me the difference between falling out of love and falling out of trust. If he was doing some of these other things in a more effective way, do you think you could still find love?
Possibly, yes.
Yeah.
Because I did love him dearly,
Right.
and I was trusting him implicitly for those, implicitly for those first 30 plus years. And as I said, he did make a great income and do really, really well in the business world. And so I had this track record of being able to relax and trust him with that part of our life. I trust him. He's not a cheater whatsoever. He's not a substance use, none of those things. He loves the Lord and he serves the Lord sincerely, but he's just blind to this one area. And he says, well, I have a life insurance policy for that. And it's like, and we have some savings. That's not enough.
Right.
It's like he doesn't live in that reality of what it's going to take, So
it's more of a trust issue than a love issue, is what I think I just heard you say.
Well, it's really both, because it's a respect issue, because I don't trust him with my future, and also, it's because I'm almost repulsed by any physical advances, and I don't even miss him when he's gone. When he's gone for a day or two for something.
Yeah. Have you talked to a counselor about this? Have the two of you ever, tried to make any headway into building more connection?
I have suggested that a multitude of times and bought books and things, and he doesn't like to avail himself. I convinced him to go to the weekend, the marriage weekend that New Life puts on, and the group counselor that we were with and the group itself was not really a good fit for us, honestly. It didn't. So we just didn't quite, get much, insight that weekend. Some, but not a lot, not enough. And it's like it just sort of flew by.
Yeah, what I hear you saying is you didn't have a breakthrough, and some people truly have breakthroughs at those, but you didn't have that breakthrough. I'm just wondering, I've got a couple of other thoughts, but I can hear the music, because I'm wondering about two different ways of approaching this differently. But I'm looking at you, Brian. I think as the clock comes, maybe we can do it as we come back.
Sure, we can do that. And we've also got some other calls coming through, and we're going to be in the studio for 2 hours. So we welcome your phone calls if you want to talk to Dr. Jim Burns and Dr. Sheri Denham Keffer. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call if you're having issues with your marriage, whether it's trust or infidelity or who knows what. Give us a call. 1-800-229-3000. If, prodigal children is what keeps you up at night, give us a call. We're here for you today, here at New Life Live.
We've been married 33 years. We attended the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop. Even though we've read books or attended a few other marriage weekends, this was certainly different and a lot more intensive than initially that we thought.
When you come to Intimacy and Marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process.
Was not really sure exactly what to expect, but the idea of learning to really understand intimacy was intriguing. We had been in the same patterns of struggle over and over again.
If you've thought, I don't think we can ever change, we're just in this rut and we can't get out, the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop can help you get out of the rut.
The Intimacy and Marriage Weekend is February 13th to the 15th in Orange County, California. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the code NLL for a discount. 1-800-639-5433.
I would highly recommend it.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Stuart and Susie and everyone else calling in, we'll get to you in a moment. 1-800-229-3000 is the number. But Dr. Jim Burns, you had a couple of suggestions for Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle, I struggle with you because I want so badly for you and him to be, you've been married a long time. I want this to work. And yet he took the lead with certain things, and you allowed that. And probably rightly so in many ways. It didn't work, so now obviously we have to turn around. What if you said to him, I want to give you 2 things that are a must for this year. Number 1 is I want to not just go to, it didn't work. Our marriage conference thing didn't work as well, but I would like us to get some counseling. It doesn't have to be expensive. There's ways where you live that you could get some counseling. You could even talk to a pastoral counseling or whatever. But, or a counselor, invest what you have and get some counseling. I'd like you to do that so we could explore this because again, there's all this stuff you're bringing up is what a counselor could help you work through probably. Secondly, what if you said, I want a job. I want you to have a job. It could be a Walmart greeter, but I want you to have a job. And I know he has dreams, but you'll have time because if you're a Walmart greeter, it's not a lot of pressure, but at least have him put some money into the thing by some kind of a job. I mean, there's jobs there. What would he say?
Well, I have actually said those things,
Uh-huh.
And he says, if this doesn't work next month, I'll get any job. And he said this I can't tell you how many times. And then he'll look for a job, and if it's not a fit, he just doesn't.
Yeah.
So there's a term for that. It's called future faking. And you take the bait. This is what's concerning to me. You guys have been in a conundrum for a long time. And I'm going to add a third thing to your list.
Yeah.
Because there's a pattern here, right? Desperate times sometimes call for desperate measures. I want you to let him know if he doesn't have a job and he's not willing to do counseling. Yeah. You're going to ask it again. The third thing is that I'm going to meet with an attorney and look at filing a legal separation from you financially because I need to protect myself. Yeah. Now, he has ability. You go back, he has ability to earn money. So it's not like we're dealing with somebody who struggled from the time you met him. It's that he's stuck, he doesn't want to, he's dismissing it, he's future faking. And sometimes that legal step is the boundary you need to wake someone up. So while I get it, your heart's going out for marriage, mine is too, Brian's too, you're dealing with a boat that is sinking. Mm-hmm. And so that would be number 3.
Yeah, no, you know what? I had that on my list.
You did?
Yes, because again, I'm not one who immediately says, "Well, then just go divorce him."
Right, but we're talking about a line.
Yeah,
this
but
is
even
not
saying
work.
separation and then meaning it's like
a
with
legal
our,
separation.
It's like with our,
you don't have to divorce, right? You're just separating legally, and you're putting some boundaries around what finances you do.
Exactly,
have.
It's putting boundaries around, and it's like what we do with our kids. If we say, you can't come home late on curfew if they're later, and then they do. And if we don't do anything about it, well, then they know they can come home late on curfew. Right. So in some ways, with our spouses, it's the same thing. We do it in a loving manner. We do it, we're kind. Yep. We're leading, with some kindness on that. But literally, Michelle, sometimes the separation, what I've seen with separation, I'm not pro just run to divorce. I mean, I understand that there is times when people divorce. But to say we'll need to separate for a bit and kind of relook at this, that may be what moves him to make really right decisions. And I realize they're not right decisions. His dream is not to be, no offense to Walmart, but a Walmart greeter. I mean, I think they're great. A few times I've been in a Walmart. But the point I'm saying is, he may need to have a job that isn't as great as he had years ago. But nevertheless, he's then showing you that he really does care. And he cares by, I don't care if he's throwing newspapers, but there's jobs out there that he can do that in the meantime that can help.
Michelle, thanks for your phone call today to New Life Live. We're going to send you a copy of the Trust book from the newlife.com store. And
it's by Henry Cloud.
Dr. Henry Cloud, yes, indeed. Now, we've got 3 New Life online courses starting the week of January 26th. January is next month, a few weeks away. Can you imagine that? So here's the 3 courses. Lose It for Life, which addresses the emotional and spiritual roots of unhealthy eating. Healing is a choice. We can't always control what happens to us, but we can choose how we respond. And Take Your Life Back. It's about setting boundaries, breaking free from codependency, and living with purpose. These are 12-week virtual faith-based courses led by a licensed counselor or coach, and you can find out all the details about each course at newlife.com. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to reach us in the studio today. We're here for 2 hours. Here is Stuart listening in New York City on newlife.com. Hey there. Welcome, Stuart.
Hey, how you doing there? This is Stuart from New York.
Yes.
Okay, I'm calling because I experienced a situation. I need some help processing some of this. That is, I'm a pastor of a church, and I was moved from one particular church. The church was doing extremely well financially. The church was growing, and the Word of God was being taught, and that was primarily the focus, more so teaching God's Word. But anyway, I was moved from that church, and I moved to another church, and it's really a demotion. And so I went to conference, and when I went to conference, the supervisor asked me how much the church brought into the conference, and I didn't say exactly how much. I just said the people have worked really hard, really been faithful, and we've been able to meet all of our obligations and bring and pay our assessments after. It's the church had not been able to do that in 10 years, so this is the first time they've ever been able to do that. So they moved me to another church, and so while standing there sharing all of that with him, he kept asking me how much he brought to the conference. So I said, well, the people really worked hard, and that's what I did. I focused on the people, the efforts of the people, not so much the money, but I wanted to encourage, let them know that it's the people that really makes a difference.
Right.
Anyway,
so what's your main question for us today, Stuart?
My main question is, help me process some of this, that is not understanding what's really been going on, even with my own personal self. I think he may have thought that I was more so disrespectful, not answering his question, how much we brought to the church, to the conference. And so I was demoted for that.
So you're looking at being moved from one church to the other as a demotion. And
right.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Stuart, you sound like a great pastor, and sounds like you got in somewhat a raw deal. For our other listeners, what Stuart is talking about is different. This is a denominational church, no doubt, and a conference can make that decision. Somebody from the conference can make a decision to move you. So some people who go to different churches wouldn't understand that. So one of the things about being in a denomination, I don't know what it is, Stuart, but like yours, is you do have a right to go to other people. You mentioned this person was your supervisor. No doubt your supervisor knew how much money you had given to the conference, and with these kind of churches, there's typically a
balance sheet.
There's going to be something that's going to be in. So you probably did get demoted for that, or whatever. But is there a place for you to have a conversation? Part of it is you just want to get to understand and know why. It doesn't sound like they communicated well to you. Is there a place you could go within your denomination to get some insight, even if it's not the insight you want to hear? But because sometimes, Brene Brown says to be clear is to be kind, and it doesn't sound like they were clear with you. But is there a step you could take to kind of get some information more, just so then you know why? Well,
I did talk with my supervisor, and he just thought that I should have said how much they brought in.
Yeah, right.
How much we brought in.
Mm-hmm.
He had the paperwork.
Sure, they would know.
He stood up and said, well, X amount of dollars they brought in, and they did very well, very well. And so, and then, then he told me, and I tried to talk with the main guy, and then he said he said.
So, Stuart, we're coming up to the break really quick. I just want to ask you a question. Why do you consider this a demotion? People would ask, you're still serving in ministry, you're a pastor, why do you consider it a demotion?
Well, it's less people. It's very much more so a mission type church.
Okay. All right, so we're coming up to the break. We'll continue our conversation with you, Stuart, when we come back. 1-800-229-3000 is the number. We're going to be in the studio for the rest of this hour and all of next hour. So call in, grab an open line. 1-800-229-3000 is our number. We can't wait to speak with you today on New Life Live.
My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
I went to the Restore conference, which seems to be the missing puzzle piece where I was able to find my voice.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we are not stuck because someone else made a decision. God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, March 6th to the 8th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
I'm navigating my world now. It feels so wonderful.
I've had a great experience at Restore.
1-800-NEWLIFE and the discount code NLL. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go back to Stuart in New York City. Dr. Jim Burns, what else did you have
Yeah,
to
Stuart,
say,
I was just going to say two thoughts. One is, get the information, and then you might have to move on. Jesus said, "Not my will, but your will." He said it 3 times to his Father. And if you go to this other place and you don't feel called, then you may have to have more conversations with your leadership. Maybe this is the place for you to take all that great knowledge that you have, and you said you were preaching the word, and turn something that's not going so well into something that's beautiful. It may be smaller, it may not be what you had hoped, but sometimes God does work through others as well. Sometimes there's dysfunction in there too, so you find out. But you may want to give it a shot for 18 months to 2 years and turn this thing around. Maybe they have more belief in you than you think, because they say he did it here, he can do it there.
Yep, for sure. Take Your Life Back. That's the book that we're going to send you from the newlife.com store, and it's also one of the courses I was just talking about that begins next month, and you can find out more about that at newlife.com. We are getting closer and closer to reaching our year-end goal of $475,000 for our matching gift campaign. 2 weeks to go. I know we can do it. Thank you to everyone who's already contributed, and for those who are going to do it right now, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and make your most generous gift, or visit newlife.com/match, or text the word match, MATCH, to 28950. Your generosity changes lives. Thank you so much for whatever you can do as we continue helping hurting people throughout the world. 1-800-229-3000 is the number in the studio today, and here is Susie in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, listening on Sirius XM Channel 131. Hello, Susie.
Hi.
Hi. What's your question for us today?
Well, my question is this. For, I guess about 20 years, I've inherited a mental health diagnosis of depression and anxiety, and then it was bipolar and different things. And I've always been the one that held our family together for 30 years. My husband worked offshore. I raised the kids. I took care of everything. I worked outside the home. And then after that first breakdown, I was put on disability due to mental health. And through medications and life and things, unfortunately, I think I've really been kind of let down by the mental health field and changing so many medications instead of the depression and anxiety getting better. It now got so bad that I did 10 ECT treatments, which has messed up my short-term, long-term memory, the executive functioning, like organizing, planning, all of those skills that I once had are now very much struggling with. And I have now a new diagnosis of complex PTSD. And I feel so much disconnection, especially from my adult boy children. They're both married. They love their wives, and they're doing what they need to do, to kind of leave your parents and cling into your wife. And I'm so proud of them for all of that. But in doing that, I feel left out of their life, and I'm very empathetic. I probably a lot of codependency, because if they need my help, I'm Johnny on the spot, because that's the only time I hear from them is when they need me. And that's my service. That's my love language. I want to be a light and a child of God and do good. But at the same time, due to my childhood, I have been taken advantage of because I'm very vulnerable. I don't know a lot of discernment and trusting and how to break patterns and behaviors, but I do know that I'm on a healing journey with God since the ECT.
Yeah.
I'm trying to rediscover myself.
Okay. Dr. Sheri, what would you say to Susie?
Well, hey, Susie, I just want to tell everyone what ECT is because some people don't know. It's electroconvulsive therapy. So I just want to say this to you, my dear. You are healing from the ECT, and your brain has just gone through a reset. Now, why can I say this with such confidence? Is because I saw another woman who had ECT. And when she first came back, I knew her before she had it, and then I knew her after. And she was frightened because some of her memory was gone. And that just added some more complications to what she was already feeling before she had it. But let me tell you this, over the next weeks and months, and we continue to do the therapy, her brain actually came back online. And it was my first experience with it. I hadn't seen it before, up close and personal. But I want you to know, especially with your abuse background, I'm imagining there was horrible things that happened to you. I'm imagining probably sexual abuse and violation, and growing up in a house with a lot of chaos where things were very unsafe. And those brains can really struggle to find peace. But I want to say this, you are not your diagnosis. You are a woman who is lovely, who is on a path of healing. And I would encourage you to not only walk through this with your faith in God, but I wish you lived near me, because I would say, come hither, Susie. Let's get to work on your complex trauma, and let's start to help you heal and find a better empowered path forward. There is so much hope for you. There's so much changes that can happen in the brain, heart, mind, and soul. You're not moving backwards, you're moving forwards, even though it feels that way.
Yeah.
So I hope something I've said to you, Susie, brings some hope today.
Jim, how would you address the issue with her kids and feeling like she's disowned by her family members?
Yeah. You know, Susie, and I totally agree with what was just brought to you. And good job for doing the hard work. And actually, even when you have a diagnosis like you have, I was going to go the real practical way, and I was actually thinking about your sons. Sons can be goofy. My mom, I feel sorry for her. 4 boys. I don't think we were as good to her as we could have been. But you know what? If my mom would have said to me, I was so busy and I didn't put the time I loved her. I just didn't put always the time. If she would have said, hey, Jim, would you be willing to have coffee with me once a month? You know what? I would have done that. And then the smart thing on your part would be not to even talk about some of your issues, but just say, tell me how you're doing. Tell me how the kids are.
I love that.
Move into a relationship, kind of the mom, go back to being mom. Moms don't sometimes, get all their needs met. As time goes on, that may build into a much better, deeper relationship. But sometimes we have to take a small step. And so you would want them more than once a month. But this time, just say, hey, would you be willing to have coffee once a month? Or I want to take you out to breakfast once a month, or whatever it might be. You do that, and I honestly think that's going to help build that relationship, because it doesn't sound like they're mad at you. It just sounds like they're not paying attention to you. So pay attention to them in that manner, and then watch the relationship blossom.
Susie, thanks for calling in today. We're going to send you a copy of this book here, written by this gentleman right here, Dr. Jim Burns. It's called Doing Life with Your Adult Children.
So
it's also
good.
available in the newlife.com store. All right, we're going to be in the studio for another hour, so keep those calls a-coming. 1-800-229-3000 is the number. We've got Dr. Jim Burns and Dr. Sheri Denham Keffer sticking around to answer the questions you've got about life, about the holidays, whatever it is that's going on. Give us a call here at New Life Live.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.